Hey!
What's going on, friends?
A little lower. Almost. There we go.
See
Much
what you're
better.
trying to do? Trying to take me out of the...
No, I fixed it.
Take me out of the picture.
I mean, I can still like tilt it and everything.
But anyway,
now
what's
I'm
going
not.
on? I guess it's Brandon's day to wear his Game Gear shirt.
Yeah, I found it again. I'm very terrible when it comes to losing my clothes.
Oh well, I got what I needed. His isn't as nice as mine.
Are we having this conversation again?
Well, I mean, I was just saying, it's not.
I know it's really making a killer, isn't it?
What's this one? Oh, Killer Croc. Oh, speaking of Croc, I did not know they made a Croc 2. Did you ever play it?
I couldn't even get past the first one when I was a kid, so I decided not to.
You never beat it?
Mm-mm.
I didn't either. I was like, how long is this
Because literally, I was just there on the first level, and all I kept freaking doing was keep out, kapoo, kersh, splat, and I'm just like, what do I do? I didn't get any information on not just the objective of the game, but what does what and etc. They literally that game in itself, it literally just threw you in there, and you're like, all right, go do stuff. And I'm just literally going back and forth between the same areas because I didn't know exactly where to go and I didn't know anything, so that's why I was just like, yeah, I don't like this game, so I stopped playing it.
Right.
It was terrible.
It was, yeah. So I'd be interested to play Croc 2 just to see what it's about. But anyhow,
I'm like, why when you never beat it?
Well, no, I played Croc. I mean, just to see what Croc 2
probably has a better introduction at least.
Yeah. So anyhow, as you saw, we already crossed the territory in the blasphemy talking about bad Mario games, but Sonic has some stinkers too, apparently.
Oh yeah.
What? Not as much of a shock.
Yeah, that's definitely not much of a shock after, I think my first one initially was a Sonic 2006.
Okay.
Or some people would call it a Sonic 2K6.
Look who it is. It's Richard.
But my first bad Sonic game was, again, Sonic 2006. I'm never going to forget that. But here's the thing about that game. It was so bad. The story was but the playability for it was so bad that it frustrated you to the point that you wanted to beat it just to say you did it.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those interesting frustrations.
Yes.
Oh my, I wanted to beat it just to see how it ended, but it was just so bad that okay, so not even first level of the game. Go to a beach area.
Okay.
At the end, before you reach the goal, there's a loop that you have to take. So basically, when you run on it, it goes like this, it curves to the right, and then it curves straight.
Okay.
Okay? If you don't start the loop at a certain position, so basically you would have to be at the most far left of the loop. Because if you're not, it flings you off into the ocean and you die.
Interesting. First bad one was Sonic 3D on Genesis. Completely took away from the fast element that made Sonic what he was. True. Yeah. So,
but then the thing is, too, Richard, I didn't get to play Sonic games on Genesis, so I was I didn't really know that.
Yeah, I got
because I didn't get to play the old games until Mega Collection.
Yeah, I played Sonic. I had an original Genesis. I played Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles.
Knuckles.
Yeah. So thankfully, from what you just said, it looks like I chose wisely and stopped there because I didn't explore the Sonic 3D. I stopped at the Sonic 2, Sonic 3D. But I'm sorry, on Genesis. What a youngin'. Oh yeah.
Well, because I was born in 92, but beside the point. I still at least had Super Nintendo and everything, but I just never really...
He's young.
I know, but it's I never really heard about the Genesis when I was a kid. I didn't hear about what a Genesis was until I had my hands on a GameCube. I've seen it, but I never knew exactly what it was called, because it just said Sega for me. But aside from that, I at least got to play those games on the GameCube version because
what is going on
I didn't get to play those games until the GameCube released the Sonic Mega Collection, which had all those games on it.
Oh.
I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to get a Genesis, so I'll just play them on this.
Oh, be still my heart. Oh, my goodness.
Am I gonna have to call Life Alert?
Oh, you just might. You just.
Help! I've fallen. I can't
get up. My
God.
God. Right, man. I'm just like, jeez, Louise.
I'm only 25.
I can't take it. My grief. Anyway, before I jump into, I found something interesting.
Christian, you're like almost like not that much older than me.
Dude, I'm about to be 30. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do for your 30th? Go to Vegas?
I don't know. I'm trying to make up my mind on that. I'm trying to, but let's not detract away from the fact that it was a long time before you played a.
I never played a Dreamcast.
What?
Yeah, how Nintendo is to you for me is how Sega is from me to you.
But it's. I mean,
yeah,
granted it was a crappy system, but geez.
No, it's not that it was crappy. It's just I never got my hands on it.
Well, no, I said granted it was a crappy system. I mean, you weren't missing much, but
well, I mean, no, I was missing some. I was missing Sonic Adventure 2, Soul Calibur.
Well, no, I was saying I didn't like the system.
Okay.
I didn't care. I didn't care for the system, which is why it was as short-lived as it was. But
it's a big ass controller.
It was. I mean, I always went to my cousins to play it, and they had like super weird games on that thing.
And then the next big predator was freaking the old Xbox controller.
Yeah.
That thing was like
you could like knock somebody out real good with that thing.
I know. Freaking just
do it ASAP.
Now I at least know what Power Stone is.
Okay.
Power Stone 2, I know were fighting games at that time, and I know they're still expensive today.
Yeah.
Because we even had some people.
Game on the Dreamcast. I can't remember what it was. I actually liked it. It was a fighting game. My cousin had it. But that's why I said they had like super weird games, because none of the games were like any huge, with the exception of Soul Calibur
and Sonic Adventure.
Yes, Soul Calibur and Sonic, they weren't based off of a huge franchise.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like these off titles. I did like obviously Virtua Tennis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did, and
that's where all the Virtua Tennis started.
Right. And oddly enough, if you go into like John's Incredible Pizza, you'll find it and whatnot. But yeah, when I was like, this
is making me want to go there now.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. But
we gotta play laser tag.
I've never played laser tag at Sonic. At Sonic at John's Incredible. Yeah. And every time
missing out.
Every time
it's not no big laser tag building like the one that's specific, or what is it called? I think it was called like Spec Ops.
Yeah, they closed it. They turned it into that stupid cheerleading thing.
Well, I know there's that one.
Oh, there's another one.
I know there is the one over there, but they closed it by
Herndon.
On Herndon.
Yeah,
I know that one they closed, but there's another one. I forgot what it's called. I know it's not Spec Ops, but it's something else.
Next, please.
Oh, Jonathan. He always tells me.
One of yours?
Yeah. He always tells me that. Love you too, Jonathan. Anyways, so what are these stink meter Sonic games?
These stinker 5 times.
Well, why am I seeing a picture of Sonic Adventure 2? Because that game sure as hell is not bad.
Wait. He could just be the header. Could just be the graphic. 5 times Sonic hit an all-time low. Number 5. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay, thank you. Al the Edge. Shadow the Hedgehog was it kind of played like how the Sonic games were playing at that time. Like, it was 3-dimensional. You reach from one side to or from one point to another, from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Still had, the homing attack-esque, etc. But what was weird and different about it was that you were able to use guns. They had to use machine guns, handguns, you name it. They even had you drive cars, but it was generally just military cars. It was weird. And
this sounds really stupid.
Yeah, and but like the only decent thing about it was that it was a meter. So basically, depending on the enemies you killed, it built the meter. So if you killed humans, it built your red meter, which is bad. And then if you killed like the natural enemies that aren't people, then you build your blue meter, which is for good side. And each stage had 3 possible different ways that you could have gone. So you could have done, finish it dark way, neutral way, or good. And because of that they did that on every single stage, you had 12 ending differences. But what was bad about each of those ending differences was that it was slightly, like, if you were to go, full neutral, that's fine. But, like, in comparison, like, if you were to go, full good or full bad, or even just, like, a little bit of good and a little bit of bad, it was just, like, all over the place. It was terrible. And each ending was, like, slightly different wording than each other. Like, not... Like, the most different ones was just full neutral, full good, and full bad. Anywhere in between that, it was just slight grammar change and wording. It was terrible.
They kind of said a lot of the same things you just
said.
They said the idea of guns being in a Sonic game was eyebrow-raising enough, but the way they were implemented in the gameplay was awful, as though the mechanic had been shoehorned in at the last minute. Stopping to shoot foes regularly just didn't feel natural and contradicted the game's attempt at being a fast-moving
I ran through the stages just homing attacking them. Like, there wasn't a point to have guns. And freaking, like, what was even worse is that the stages were glitchy as crap. Like, you would just phase through it and possibly die. Or, there's even certain missions that you had to find every single one of the enemies that you have to kill before even being able to move on. Sometimes you miss them or don't know where they are, especially on your first playthrough. And you literally go through the stage like 2 or 3 more times, because if you can't beat it, it has you, like, when you reach the end of the stage, it makes you restart the entire place. But you still have, whatever you killed is dead. But you still have to find that one. And it's probably hidden somewhere. It was just, oh my god. Like, I remember one stage, because I was getting so frustrated at the time that I couldn't find the one person, I finally did, and it was some really point obvious place. I just didn't look. It took me 15 minutes. I'm like...
Well, there we go.
Alright, so what else?
Sonic Shuffle.
Wait, real quick, I want to see what else it said about it. Yo, Sonic Shuffle was, come on, it was Mario Party.
It said more what you just said. While the game boasted multiple endings and level pathways, you'd be forgiven for not wanting to endure a second playthrough of this awful stain on Sonic's legacy.
I'm surprised it even lasted one playthrough.
Right. Sonic Shuffle. This was Dreamcast.
Yeah, Sonic Shuffle was aka Mario Party for Sonic.
By the time Sonic Shuffle hit the Sega Dreamcast in 2000, Sonic had experimented with a number of genres. There was
Super Sonic Racing.
The Game Gear Mario Kart-esque Sonic Drift games,
Super Sonic Racing,
and also the arcade beat-em-up Sonic the Fighters. Not content with those forays into other zones of gaming, Sonic had to have his own Mario Party style party game.
Yeah, Sonic Drift was basically the song I was just singing right now.
Yeah,
but Sonic Drift, at least it was okay, and the music was catchy. So it's like, that's I possibly think that it's saved, because I don't know if it's on this damn list or not. If it is, for shame, because that game was fun.
You liked it?
Yeah, I got to at least play it at a friend's house, and I still, like, that's why that song is still stuck in my head, because I heard that song so much.
Well, pretty much what they said is, it was Sonic's answer to Mario Party, which isn't bad. It was just boring.
That will, yeah.
that pretty much that was the problem. It was boring.
They tried, but it just couldn't hold its own weight.
Yeah. So as they said, stick with Mario Party.
But some people did enjoy it at its time. It's like all depends, because like, even though if it says that it's a bad game, that's probably one of the first games that people play, and that's why it holds a special place in some people's hearts. Right. Because I had a few people come in and ask if we had it. It's just
Right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Sonic the Fighters.
I'm just looking at that picture.
Yeah, when I initially saw the picture,
Sonic but why did they call it the Fighters?
I don't know.
Why? Like, it doesn't need the Fighters. It just needs Sonic Fighters.
It should be obvious to anyone that Sonic simply isn't suited to the fighting genre.
Can we take this to Evo?
He's a platforming hero known for his speed and agility, not his resilience or fisticuffs. Apparently, though, Sega didn't get the memo. You know what? I think that was I think that was one of the big problems with Sonic. I think they just started, which I think that's what got Crash in trouble. They started experimenting too much, and they got away from what worked with Sonic.
But the thing is, with Crash, for some reason, his still were okay.
Crash the Titans.
Okay, wait. Okay, no, Crash of the Titans, no, that was too far.
Or Crash to Insanity.
I know, wait, hang on, wait. Let me touch this real quick. So, with Crash, it was okay with Crash Team Racing, because not only was that his first, but it was good. Like, it was actually really good.
It was. I didn't like Crash Nitro Kart.
Okay, that's understandable, because I didn't either. Because I basically still felt like it still went a little bit too far that it needed to. Like, Crash Team Racing, I wouldn't mind if it was a one and done. Like, it was good for what it was, and I wouldn't mind just keeping it like that. And you still had a good amount of characters. You still at least had all the bosses.
We got a copy of that today.
Ooh. Yeah, but what was cool about that is that you still had, characters to unlock, and all the characters that you had to unlock were all bosses in the throughout 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's still my favorite, but the hardest one for me to get at the time was Entropy, because it was time trials.
Right.
I sucked at time trials. But when I finally got him, it was so cool to play him, because I loved him as a character, just because I liked his voice actor and everything, and unfortunately they had to change it in Insane Edition, or Insane Trilogy, but at least they still tried to keep to, like, the esque of what he was.
Yeah.
And that was fine. But, and also one more game that was cool like that, Crash Bash.
Oh, you know what? I played Crash Bash. I can't remember if I liked it or not. That was one of those one and dones for me. I didn't play Crash Bash.
I'll just say it was interesting. They had their own kind of like minigame esque, like as if it was Mario Party almost. But
yeah.
At least what's the word? I can't remember. Like I know it had like some mini story line to it, but it was just like you didn't need it. But it like the minigames themselves, they were fun to play.
But I think this is why Sonic got. They just tried too much.
Mm-hmm.
They tried.
Well, because they tried to like answer to different games
rather than just stay true to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I can't see Sonic.
No, a fighter. No, who wants to play that?
I mean, I will say there are fans that have made fighting games like for Sonic, or they just threw him in there as a fighting character. But they at least try to use moves that he would normally use, like homing attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember playing like Sonic Advance or something. They usually use like that sprite, and they generally use moves that he had in like Smash Brothers or something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Does Sega have anything equivalent to Smash? That would be a good idea. You wouldn't play it?
It's a hit and miss.
I think if it was developed correctly, it could.
That's the thing.
But I think
correctly.
Yeah.
But
I
the thing is, like, I
Nintendo...
can't really see. Like, I know that there's a lot of characters in the Sonic universe, but I'm just curious on how far they will pull from. Because we still have the comics as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just saying Sega, like the Sega universe, like
I'll just stick with the Sonic All Stars Racing. Yeah, because there's nothing better I would love to fight us than Samba de Amigo. Man, Samba de Amigo was a good game.
I didn't play that one.
Anyways, what's next?
Anyway, yeah, Sonic R.
Oh no. I remember this.
I didn't. What did this come out on?
Oh god.
Sonic
R, by the way.
For the PlayStation, I never.
I'll go ahead and read about it.
Nowadays, most gamers will recognize game studios' Traveler's Tales for their seemingly endless supply of Lego video games. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, they did some other things. Mickey's Wild Adventure for the Sony PlayStation comes to nostalgic mind. Mm-hmm. One of these things, however, was co-developing the awful Sonic R, which was released for the Sega Saturn. Oh, in 1997.
And for Windows.
And for Windows a year later. Now, as a concept, a Sonic racing game where the characters move on foot doesn't sound too bad. Yeah. But when the concept is brought to life via Sonic Team's poorly designed racing tracks and Traveler's Tales poor programming, it makes you rethink that statement.
Yeah, Sonic R was what had that song, Super Sonic Racing. So, but okay, so the idea of it that they were all running on foot, that's fine because that's generally what they did anyway. those tracks were bad. Like, I can't tell you enough how bad those tracks were.
Awkwardly tight corners.
Yeah, like it was. Oh my god, it was excruciating.
And the characters are awkward when trying to turn corners, and some of them are so slow and disadvantaged.
Yeah, because they're just like. Oh my god.
When compared to the other racers, I'm looking at you, Amy Rose, that they just aren't worth bothering with on a whole.
She's the only one that drove a car because she didn't run as fast enough.
Oh, wow.
All in the same unit.
Wow. Alright, Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis Game Boy Advance port.
I remember seeing this, but I never played it. Because I remember seeing it on the shelves at the store. Because at the time...
I guess this is
no,
the
because
worst.
because what happened at that time was they were releasing old games onto the Game Boy Advance. Because they had Super Mario Brothers, they had Metroid, Link and Link's Adventure, etc. But I only remember seeing that in particular once, but I never saw it again. I mean, it was still cool that they're bringing all these old games, but what was so bad about this one?
It says this is perhaps one of the lesser known examples of a bad Sonic game, but it's well deserving of a spot here. This lazy Game Boy Advance port was developed by Sonic Team for the Blue Hedgehog's 15th anniversary, and it's one of the worst Sonic games in existence. Jeez. It takes the original Genesis Mega Drive game and gives it a painfully slow frame rate, poor physics, and awfully downgraded soundtrack. In other words, everything that made the first Sonic great. As a cheap shoe-in, Sonic Team did add Anniversary Mode, which is the exact same game save for adding this spin dash that was introduced in Sonic 2 onward. Wow, Sonic Team really pushed the boat out with this one.
Blue Streak speeds by Sonic the Hedgehog too fast for the naked eye.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's the... that was the lyrics for...
Oh. Did you
like,
watch the Sonic cartoon?
Sonic X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that came on the WB in the mornings. I watched that before I went to school.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Sonic X was fine because it still had their voice actors.
Yeah, Jaleel White.
And, oh my god.
I remember when I found that, I was like, Steve Urkel is the voice of Sonic?
Mm-hmm.
This is life.
So, did he do that?
He did. He did. No, that was Kel. I'm sorry.
He was like, did he do that?
So, yeah, so. Anyhow, I just ran across this. Edge ranks the top 100 greatest games 2017 edition.
We already looked at this. We already know Zelda's one.
No, this just came up.
I'm pretty sure we know most of these.
I
skim through.
I scrolled down and skimmed through.
I prefer the original Sonic cartoon. Oh, freaking, with Sonic Says.
I don't watch that one.
What?
No, I don't watch that one.
Dude, Eggman on the old show was hilarious. Because it was basically like his old, they basically made him like super fat. And he was like, he had like that husky voice. It's like, no! But no, what was funny was that at the end of every episode, they had what was called Sonic Says. And what Sonic Says was, he basically tells you a thing at the end of the day, some do's and don'ts or whatever. I remember kids, if a stranger comes up to you and tries to say hi to you, he's like, that's no good. So first, you gotta say da da da, then you get out of there. And then you gotta tell somebody. Like your parents or your teacher. I'm just like, oh my.
That's funny.
No,
that
but
is funny.
I know it was just.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never saw that.
No, but I remember this though. So I mean, if we're gonna dive into this, then there was a contest that they had one time for Sonic Says, and for that show anyway. And if you were to mail in, what he said at the time, they would give you like a shopping spree. And the person that won that was somebody by the name of, I think it's Christopher Chandler. Well, anyways, people nowadays call him Chris Chan. And I'm not going to say anything more about it, but let's just say that his story was very interesting. I'm only saying that just because we're kind of on the topic of that show in general. But I mean, it was cool that they had their own contest back then. But the person that won that contest, let's just say it completely took like a whole left turn. If you want to read that, you're more than welcome to on your own. I ain't gonna say shit. Speaking of, now that I just reminded myself, did you ever read about Pokemon Black?
I did not.
And you're gonna be gone next week?
Week after.
Okay, week after. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Because I really want...
Alright, I'll read the stupid thing.
I know, you gotta read the stupid thing.
This Edge... Sorry. This Edge actually came out yesterday. And let me show you this, because...
Edge ranks?
Edge ranks. I wonder what the #1 game is. Huh.
Yeah.
That's not biased at all. Jeez.
Wait, hang on. Wait, here... Okay, so... Let me see. What made the list right here?
Yeah, we're gonna skim through.
I'm just gonna look at the ones that...
Get back to work. Hey, man. We're gonna skim through here. We're not gonna go. Obviously, we're not gonna go through all 100, but kind of highlight any surprises or what's on here.
How's it biased?
How's it? Well, I mean, I wouldn't say. Okay, maybe bias is the wrong word, but don't put a big fat. What's the thing called? Poster on the top of the list. At least make it somewhat of a mystery. I mean, geez. You got a big screen right here.
Here's the thing: we can't make it a mystery for something that is true currently.
I mean, but at least at least just say, goodness, some games has to be number. I know it has to be #1, but at least make me think about it. Like, I wonder if not just a big fat poster right there. That's like,
I already knew what it was really going to be anyway, so there's no question about it.
Anyway, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Hey, Mario Galaxy 2 made 8.
Yeah. Where's I just saw. Where's it at? Grand Theft Auto 5 #3.
I don't want to look at this list; it's too long.
Let's see. There was something.
We re-spoiled it like that's #1, so GG.
I'm just looking. I was kind of when I saw this earlier, I was just kind of looking to see if there were any.
Okay, so so if you think Crash is so good, see if Crash is on that list.
Yeah. Let's see. Your friend Splatoon is on here, #32.
It's fair.
Let's see.
I don't know, Christian. I don't see no Crash.
It better be. Let's see. I was really. You want to know what I was really looking for? Mass Effect Andromeda. Nintendo is the best, and that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're sick in the head, Marty Schwartz.
You're sick.
I am. Why would they not? It has to be here.
There's no Crash in Sonic because those games are great.
I can't believe it.
I told you, there's no Crash.
I'm gonna go through here.
So I'm gonna go write this off to home, and I'll say that.
Wait, give me one more. Give me one more chance. It has to be here. It has to. By the way, I mean, and I think we're gonna talk about it next week, but I've seen and you've kind of referenced it. What was so terrible about the ending of Mass Effect 3?
What was so bad about the ending of it?
Yeah.
Pretty lackluster.
Huh.
For it being a trilogy, it kind of ended sourly. Some people, it's really mixed, but generally most people received it in a sour way.
Anticlimactic?
Yeah. Well, to me, it felt that way.
I don't know who made this list, but this is a bunch of bull punches.
That is a good list.
This is a.
They even put in computer games like League of Legends and stuff.
But I mean, Crash.
Hey.
And this also looks.
Wait, listen. What does Crash rhyme with? Trash. Anyway, so I think we're gonna call that off for today.
Anyway, and this also seems like really one-sided because there are no sports games on here. I'd be interested in who made this.
Because sports games are bad. Not to everybody.
It's because you suck at them. Anyway.
I never played them. The only ones I would generally play is NFL Street because it's fun.
NFL. That's not a real sports game.
Yes, it is. It's football.
It is not.
It's football.
It is not. That's like the equivalent of Blitz.
That's what's fun about it.
Anyway,
I'd rather have fun playing football rather than just playing by a book.
so was this just from this year period? Yeah, this
No, it's overall
overall.
because Ocarina of Time is in there
Where'd you
at
see
the
that
top. No, not that top. Other top. Number 9.
Wow. Yeah, this seems real. There should definitely be some sports games on here.
There definitely should not be.
There should.
Whoop-de-doo.
There should. But anyhow,
All right, I think we're gonna
Just
call it
my-
off with that.
just my opinion. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
made it.
We'll be back next
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. So
And you got to read about Pokemon Black so everybody can, because I'm pretty sure some people have been itching to see.
I gotta what?
You got to read about Pokemon Black.
I'll consider it. Don't forget, our sales going on all the way through the weekend. Buy 2 get 1 free. Mix and match consoles.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not consoles. Games.
I mean games. Oh, I'm tired.
Buy
I'm
2 get 1 free. You can mix and match it between any platforms for
Yeah.
games, not consoles.
Yeah, no, you can't buy a PS4 and an Xbox One and then get a free Dreamcast.
The
you
dream.
can't do that. But you can get an Xbox One game and a PS4 game and get a free PS2 game. That you can. Well, depending on which cheaper.
As long as it's $30 or less.
All of that, yeah, and all of that good stuff.
Oh,
Anyway.
shout out to Gamer Gear.
Yeah, Gamer Gear. Is there anything else we're supposed to talk about?
That's about it.
All right. Still got some dew. No, you missed it, Rich. You missed it, but I tell you what, I drank one today in your honor.
Wow, you're a cheater. You didn't save me one?
I did. No.
How could you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off on that on that note. We'll see you guys Tuesday.